In the classic TV series The Odd Couple, based on the immortal comedy by Neil Simon, Tony Randall portrayed the charming, obsessive-compulsive character Felix Unger, who provided comic relief to Jack Klugman's easygoing Oscar Madison. Randall won 2 Emmys in 1975 and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Comedy Awards in 1993 for his spot-on performance. He was nominated multiple times, including by the Screen Actors Guild, Golden Globe and Tony Awards. What really changed Randall's life, though, was becoming a father for the first time at the age of 78. Before that, it was all laughing and accolades. Naturally, his decision to become a father at a later age caused quite a stir and made people wonder. Heather Randall, his wife, is finally speaking up about the accusations and murmurs that have dogged their family for nearly 20 years since he passed away. The video delves into such facts and what they show about Felix Unger's accomplice. The world around Tony Randall. Ari Leonard Rosenberg, who was born on February 26, 1920 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, failed to grasp his uniqueness. His modest but secure upbringing was provided for by his art and antiques trader mother Megsha Rosenberg and her housewife Julia Finston. But Ari stood out from an early age due to his passion for the arts, particularly the theater. Seeing a traveling ballet company piqued his interest in the performing arts. An indomitable spark was kindled within him by this play. However, this enthusiasm did not make his boyhood carefree. At Tulsa Central High School, Randall frequently got into trouble for his penchant for mimicking, a trait that would eventually define his acting career, because his teachers found it distracting. Randall was in trouble with the law on a regular basis. Tensions rose at home as a result of this conduct, particularly with his father, Megsha. Megsha had a hard time comprehending his son's creative tendencies, as he was a pragmatic man. He struggled to make sense of Ari's aspirations in light of their everyday lives in Tulsa. Moksha, who was deeply involved in the art and antiques trade, thought his son's dreams were unrealistic and even silly. Growing up, Randall had a tough time because of his fractured connection with his father. Young Arye felt confused and alone since his father, Moksha, couldn't relate to his creative aspirations, but Randall's dedication to his ambition of being an actor remained unshaken, even in the face of domestic strife and academic obstacles. He dabbled in speech and drama at Northwestern University after high school, but the stage called to him more. In little time at all, he was off to New York City, where he enrolled in the local Playhouse School of the Theater. Sanford Meisner and Martha Graham were among Randall's teachers there as he began to refine his technique, building the groundwork for a profession that would lead him to great heights in the end, despite the fact that his early years were characterized by hardship and his relationship with his father was difficult. In a surprising turn of events, Tony Randall served for 5 years in the United States Army during World War II before becoming a renowned TV star. It was a world away from the glamour of Hollywood, but he gained the self-control and perseverance that would help him succeed later on. The entertainment industry wasn't Randall's first stop after the war. He chose to work at Maryland's only theater as a way to ease back into civilian life. He had been away from acting for a while, but this was the beginning of his journey back. The theater served as a kind of boot camp that allowed him to escape the regimentation of military life and find the delight of performing. After regaining his self-assurance, Randall uprooted his life and headed for New York City, where he resolved to pursue acting professionally. His role as Reggie in the hit 1940s radio series I Love a Mystery was one of his earliest acting gigs. Even though the part was minor, it was a huge break for Randall. It was the beginning of an impressive career that would bring him widespread recognition in due time. Randall's rise from unknown actor to famous actor took time. The foundation was laid with years of hard work, a passion for performing, and some good fortune. Randall was immediately engrossed in the Broadway culture after arriving in New York. As a touring actor in 1946, he co-starred with the renowned Katharine Cornell in The Barretts of Wimpole Street. This was only the first stage. From 1947 until 1948, he co-starred with Charlton Heston and Maureen Stapleton in Cornell's Antony and Cleopatra. With little fanfare, Randall's career was gathering steam in the theater world. In addition to his theater performances, Randall expanded his media engagements in the early 1950s to include television. While he did have a small role in One Man's Family, his breakout role came from 1952 to 1955 when he played history teacher Harvey Westcott on the TV series Mr. Peepers. This was Randall's breakout performance on television, and it demonstrated his acting chops, particularly his ability to bring to life sympathetic, approachable characters. At about the same time, he succeeded Gig Young in 1954 as the lead in Oh Men, Oh Women, and he continued to create headlines on Broadway. In Inherit the Wind, which premiered on Broadway in 1955, the actor made his breakthrough playing the role of cynical newspaperman E.K. Hornbeck, whose persona was inspired by the real-life journalist H.L. Mencken. Critical praise was heaped on Randall for his portrayal in the smash hit play. After landing film roles thanks to his Broadway success, Randall quickly became a Hollywood sensation with his 1957 debut in Oh Men, Oh Women. Will's success Spoil Rock Hunter, in which he co-starred with Jane Mansfield, and subsequent films like No Down Payment demonstrated his range as an actor, were released that year. In the 1958 Broadway musical comedy Oh, Captain, Randall reprised the part that Alec Guinness had played in the film. Even though the production bombed at the box office, Randall still managed to get a Tony Award nomination for his performance. Randall made guest appearances on Playhouse 90 and the U.S. Steel Hour in the late 1950s, continuing to combine his passion for theater with television. He had become a household name by this time in his career, and he had firmly established himself in the entertainment industry, whose star is just getting brighter. His wife and other close friends and family members always insisted he was straight. Even nevertheless, speculation and interest persisted in his personal life, characterized by high-profile relationships and decisions, until he became a father. 2 major marriages, one at the beginning of his life and one at the end of his career, defined Randall's private life. He tied the knot with Florence Gibbs in 1938, long before he became famous. Until her death in 1992, his high school girlfriend Florence remained a persistent presence in his life. Their marriage was built on a foundation of love and respect for one another. Staying out of the limelight as Randall's career took off gave her the opportunity to handle their life together without drawing attention to herself. Randall wed Heather Harlan in 1995, marking the beginning of a new chapter in his life that began 3 years after Florence passed away, who stood 50 years below him in age. Heather was an intern with Randall's organization, the National Actors Theater, where they first crossed paths. Their romance flourished despite the vast age gap between them, receiving a great deal of coverage from the media. Their friends and family, however, saw nothing but true love and devotion between the two. Their daughter, Julia Lorette Randall, was born in 1997, making Randall a father for the first time at the age of 77, which is an especially memorable chapter of his life. Even while many his age were thinking about retiring, Randall dove headfirst into fatherhood. Jefferson Salvini Randall was born to Randall a year later at the age of 78, proving once again that he was devoted to his family despite his elderly years. Heather frequently remarked on Randall's active participation and profound interest in their children's activities. Heather never stopped defending Randall and Heather's connection, even when questions were raised about the age difference in their second marriage and his late-in-life choice to start a family, highlighting their mutual regard and affection. Tony, she said, was a compassionate and amorous lover who made their family happy and secure. Sadly, not even the most legendary figures ever really live forever. Furthermore, Tony Randall endured a string of grave health problems in his last months of life, which contributed to his demise. In order to increase blood flow to the heart, Randall had heart bypass surgery, a significant medical operation. On the other hand, problems did arise during the procedure. Pneumonia, which is more common in the elderly, struck Randall shortly after. The arts continued to hold a special place in Randall's heart despite his serious health problems. He maintained his involvement in the theater world, even starring in a stage production of Right You Are, a play by Luigi Pirandello that is being revived. Since Randall had formed and supported the National Actors Theatre in his latter years, this production held extra significance as it was their 20th production. The fact that he persisted in attending performances despite his terrible condition is indicative of how seriously he took his work. Unfortunately, Randall's condition worsened further after his admission to New York City's NYU Medical Center. Tony Randall, who was 84 years old when he died on May 17, 2004, did so quietly in his sleep due to pneumonia-related problems. After more than 60 years in the industry, he passed away, leaving an unforgettable impression on cinema and television. For those who knew and loved Randall, his death was a heartbreaking blow. He tirelessly worked to promote and protect the theater, leaving behind not only a legacy of spectacular performances, but also an impression on the arts community. His life and work demonstrate his indefatigable talent and dedication to the performing arts. After 20 years of silence, the actor's widow has chosen to address the long-running rumors. Heather, who was married to Randall and had 2 children, Jefferson and Julia, chose to remain out of the spotlight after his death in 2004. She continued her work as president of the board for the New York Theater Workshop and focused on raising her children. When Heather did speak out, it was in interviews like the one with Marie Claire, when she candidly reflected on the unique joys and hardships of her marriage. Upon their 1995 wedding, Heather minus 50 years Randall's Jr. came under intense scrutiny. The general public frequently portrayed her as a naive romantic and him as a naive elderly man. But Gary Marshall, Jack Klugman, and Eli Wallach, among others, were close to the couple and knew better. Even though Tony's friends would have cut ties with her if they had ever suspected her motives, Heather kept in close contact with them nevertheless. The validity of her marriage to Tony was, instead, confirmed by their ongoing support. Whenever Heather spoke about their relationship, she would emphasize how much love and respect there was between them. Claiming that their closeness was a normal and satisfying aspect of their marriage that lasted until Tony's dying days, she laughed at crass notions and even imagined how she would react to an interview with Howard Stern. Tony, according to Heather, was comfortable in his manhood and didn't mind the sexuality rumors that circulated due to his more feminine roles in film. She appreciated his self-assurance for fearlessly tackling such revolutionary roles. Heather gave an impassioned defense, thinking back on the naysayers who cast doubt on their marriage. She criticized the hypocrisy of their critics and asked why any woman wouldn't desire an intelligent, successful man who loved her. Tony was a wonderful husband and father to Heather. He had a hard time conceiving with his previous wife. So Heather was grateful for the opportunity to have children later in life. He made sure his children would always be taken care of by providing for his family in every manner. Heather held firm beliefs about their life together, even though she had experienced the devastating loss of Tony at an early age. She went on to say that she had no qualms and that Tony had a profound effect on her life and the lives of their children. Heather gave an emphatic yes when asked if she would do it all over again. As time went on, Randall established himself as a dependable and multi-talented Hollywood star, and his success on both the big and small screens only increased. His ability to deftly switch between dramatic and comedic roles propelled him to stardom after his breakthrough performances in the late 1950s. Randall appeared in The Mating Game 1959 alongside Debbie Reynolds, a lovely romantic comedy that highlighted his acting chops as the lead character, who is both bit perplexed and sympathetic. Along with Doris Day and Rock Hudson, he was a supporting actor in the smash film Pillow Talk that same year. Day and Hudson went on to star in 2 additional films thanks to the obvious chemistry between the 3 of them. Hey There, My Sweetheart, Please Return My Flowers. The humorous performances in these films cemented Randall's status as an actor who could compete with A-list Hollywood actors. The silver screen wasn't the only place Randall found success. He maintained his prominence on television, becoming a star after appearing in the 1959 NBC special The Secret of Freedom and a subsequent appearance in the 1960 TV special The Man in the Moon, co-written by the renowned Mel Brooks. He became famous during this time due to his seamless transition between film and television, playing the king in Huckleberry Finn. A more dramatic role that allowed Randall to demonstrate his range was in 1960. After this, he appeared in Let's Make Love, a film reminiscent of Pillow Talk in which he co-starred with Yves Montand and Marilyn Monroe. Despite the lighthearted tone, Randall demonstrated that he could also handle darker fare, such as the Alfred Hitchcock Hour episode in which his character's violent impulses were front and center, in which he played a troubled drinker. Perhaps most notably the film Seven Faces of Dr. Lao, in which Randall portrayed not one but 8 distinct personas, showcased his versatility. As he bravely assumed the roles of numerous legendary figures, including the enigmatic Dr. Lao, Pan, and Medusa, this performance is still considered one of his most acclaimed. His dedication to the trade and ability to switch gears were both on full show, and the picture went on to become a classic, solidifying his place in Hollywood even more. Even as the 1960s wore on, Randall was busy with a number of projects. He co-starred with a naughty genie in the comedic feature The Brass Bottle, and he was back for one more picture with Doris Day and Rock Hudson in Send Me No Flowers. He proceeded to showcase his humorous skills in films such as Fluffy and Our Man in Marrakesh, and he also dabbled in mystery in The Alphabet Murders, playing the role of the renowned detective Hercule Poirot. The stage was always Randall's first love, even after he found fame in movies. Although his tenure on Broadway with Ut Bu was brief, it allowed him to return to his theatrical origins. To further diversify his roles and keep people captivated by his unusual career choices, he also participated in the TV movie The Littlest Angel. By the decade's close, Randall had solidified his position as a cherished character in American popular culture. Talent, adaptability, and the awe he inspired in his contemporaries and listeners were all on full display throughout his career. These years formed the foundation of Randall's legendary career, and his performances in theater, movies, and television had an indelible effect. Even though he was famous and accomplished, Randall's private life was fascinating and was frequently the subject of rumors and speculation that had nothing to do with his career. Speculation over Tony's sexuality was the most prominent of many reasons why he was a regular topic of discussion. Alongside his lauded achievement, a number of things related to his personal life and his parts in films contributed to the spread of the rumors. The role that Randall played as Felix Unger in The Odd Couple was a big influence. Felix was perceived by many as having characteristics linked to homosexual males due to his fastidious and slightly effeminate behavior. Aside from demonstrating Randall's acting chops, his portrayal of Felix helped shape popular opinion of him in ways that went beyond the role he performed. This rumor mill was already spinning before Randall played one of the first openly gay lead characters on television in Love, Sidney. The public's interest in his private life was already high before he took on this job, which was revolutionary and unusual for the time. Speculation regarding Randall's sexuality intensified due to his subsequent marriage to Heather Harlan, a much younger woman, and his strong friendships with other women. The fact that Tony Randall chose not to have children for a significant portion of his life further added fuel to the fire of the ongoing sexuality rumors. Since being childless was commonly connected with homosexual males in popular culture, Randall's infertility became a focal point for many who speculated about his sexuality as he became older. This part of his life, together with his choices in life and his parts in movies, led to persistent speculation and questions over his sexual orientation. Randall himself never commented on the rumors surrounding his sexuality.